Today I fucked up and accidentally made chlorine gas. It all started when my cat got locked in my room for about 6 hours while I wasn't home. Once I got home I heard my cat meowing to be let out, so I opened the door and she ran out. Then as I stepped into the room I smelt the unmistakable scent of cat piss. After looking everywhere for it I finally checked under my bed and lo and behold a nice warm puddle of cat piss. So I got my bed out of the way and the smell was insanely strong, so I grabbed the nearest cleaner and sprayed it on the piss. Turns out I grabbed a bottle of bleach, and when I realized I immediately opened the window and put up a fan to cycle the air out. On my way out I also closed the air vent. I am literally so lucky that I'm a history nerd and it clicked that I had literally just accidentally created one of the most devastating weapons of World War I. Now I have been sitting in the dining room for about 10 minutes now.
Today I fucked up by mixing too much alcohol and sex. Yesterday my girlfriend and I ordered pizzas for dinner, but after dinner we drank a bit more than we should have. At some point we went to the bedroom and had sex. It is important to say that the room was dark and we did not turn on the lights. At the end my girlfriend asks me, "You took the tampon out, didn't you?" "What tampon?" I asked. She replies, "Shit, I told you I was on my period." I don't think it's necessary to describe in great detail what happened, but briefly, my penis literally pushed her tampon deep into her vagina. In my defense, I can say that alcohol and the desire to have sex were not a good combination. Still, I obviously should have seen it, or at the very least felt it. For an hour I tried to pull the tampon out, but without success. Conclusion: this morning my girlfriend had to go to the hospital to fix the problem. The female gynecologist, after removing the tampon, said, "This little fella was deep down in..."
What is a struggle that men face that women wouldn't understand? People assuming you're a perv. Stood in a friend's wedding on a boat almost 20 years ago, and before the ceremony he asked me, as a groomsman, to stand near the ramp to the boat and assist anyone that needed help boarding. So I stood there and kept a keen eye on anyone getting onto the boat, even helping his grandmother. I guess when his teenage cousin was boarding, her mom assumed I was checking her out. She walked over to me and told me very firmly, "Just so you know, she's 14 years old." What is something that you are hiding from everyone you know? I had a stroke when I was 22 and I couldn't speak when I arrived at the ER. They gave me morphine for my headache, drug tested me, then told my whole family I was an opiate addict and tried to prescribe me Suboxone. It was a super degrading experience and I never got the correct help I needed afterwards because I was so embarrassed. I am mostly back to normal, but I lost my memory for a long time and almost failed out of college.
When I was 17, my dad had a seizure-stroke combo that almost killed him on Thanksgiving Day, USA. Technically, it did kill him, but they brought him back 3 times. From what we were told, the paramedics brought him back the first 2 times, once at the house, once in the ambulance, and the 3rd time at the hospital. They had given up and were calling it, but he came back on his own. We blame it on him being too stubborn to die. He kept exceeding his expiration dates until finally a widowmaker took him down 11 years ago when I was 36. We were told he wouldn't see me graduate high school, and he lived another 19 years after that. He missed his first grandchild by 4 days, and the day of his passing was the eve of my parents' 40th wedding anniversary. To recap, he died 3 times in 1993 and was too stubborn to stay dead. He finally stayed dead almost 2 decades later in 2012. When my wife died, she had been working on special occasion letters for all of our kids. Towards the end, the cancer had spread to her brain and she wasn't able to focus on writing much, and when she did, it was often unintelligible gibberish. I tried to help her by taking dictation, but she said it would mean more if it was in her own handwriting and wanted to finish it. She slipped into a coma and died after only getting through a handful of letters for our eldest child, leaving addressed envelopes only for our other 2 kids. I knew this would be devastating for the 3 kids and possibly create conflict, so I paid a woman who specialized in calligraphy to literally duplicate my wife's handwriting. I gave her the content, channeling my wife's comments she made to me about what I thought would be meaningful words to our 3 kids when I had helped her dictate a few. And, as she wanted, I have passed them out on special occasions of wedding dates, birth of first child dates, first day of college dates, etc. My kid, what scares you the most about yourself? The fact that my idea of proper response to relatively minor slights is vastly disproportionate. Someone cutting me off in traffic means, by base knee-jerk reaction, following them, burning their house down and beating them into a bloody pulp while making their partner watch. It's not healthy. Why did you stop drinking alcohol? One of my good friends had their son when he was 26. That didn't stop him from going to concerts/clubs/parties with the rest of us, all similar age with no kids. No issues at first, as his wife was carrying a lot of the weight at home, but as time went on, he drank more, partied a lot harder than even us single folks, and started missing important events, both at home and work. The last straw was when his son had an emergency that required a visit to ER, and he was too passed out to function. Fell on me to take his wife and kid to the ER. After that, we begged him to see a specialist, and turns out he had depression that he coped with partying and drinking. He's sober for 10 years now.
Today I fucked up by sleeping with a young woman, legal, so I don't tend to go out. Hardly ever. When I go out, I make it my mission to only go to +21 clubs as it is more my environment. This time was no different. 2 months ago, I went to the club and was having a lot of fun. A pretty tall girl, around 5 feet 9 inches, bumped into me, she smiled, and I smiled back, held her hand and started dancing. Dancing led to making out, and at the end of the night, she came home with me. We got intimate. Over the past 7 weeks, we have been consistently having sex a few times per week and going out. 5 nights ago, after having sex, she slipped up the fact that she lost her virginity to me the night we met. I was confused. It is not a big deal, but the following question for me was her age. She told me she turned 17 3 months ago. My heart sank. Don't ask me how or why, but I never asked her age as the club was +21. I thought she was 23, God knows why. As soon as I heard her age, she noticed my facial expression changed drastically. My concern was not legality as it is legal, but morality. I have no interest in being sexually involved with anyone under 22 as I am 25. I tried to keep it cool and save the topic, as I could see since the first time we had sex that she got super attached very fast. When it was time for her to leave, I got her an Uber. The next day, I told her that I could not keep it going as the age difference was too much for me and I was unaware of the age difference. She called me, I picked up, and she was crying, trying to give me an explanation. I did not know what to say. I tried consoling her and took the blame, as I should have asked her age beforehand, but we met in a +21 club. So, I assumed she was over 21.